The Tempest, Act 1, Scene 2, Part 3. We are going to start from line number 104, Prospero's speech. I pray thee mark me, I thus neglecting worldly ends, all dedicated to closeness and the bettering of my mind, with that which but by being so retired, overprized all popular rate, in my false brother awaked an evil nature. Now here you have the meanings worldly end. Worldly end means worldly interest, the state affairs, especially it has been mentioned for it. Dedicated stands for devoted. Closeness is secretly. Bettering of my knowledge is improving my knowledge or enhancing my knowledge. With that which but by being so retired, overpriced is overvalued, and awaked an evil nature is made him, that is Antonio, jealous. So here Prospero says to Miranda that, oh dear Miranda, please take note to what I am conveying to you. I was the one who neglected all the worldly interests, that is, I was not much interested in the state affairs. Being a duke, I was not interested in my dukedom and was much dedicated here is standing for much devoted to the study of my liberal arts, and that was the reason I was more interested to secretly enhance my knowledge in this study of liberal art, and thus I used to retire, means neglect my state affairs. Being a duke, I had the duty to look after the state affairs, but I neglected it, gave it more value than the other popular things, popular options as a duke should have. And I trusted my false brother. False brother is here standing for Antonio, and thus over trusting my brother, I was the very cause who aroused jealousy within him and my trust, and as a parent happened to trust his own child, exactly in the same way I trusted my brother more. I never thought that he is going to go against me, cheat me, and finally too much of trust was the very cause that brought disloyalty within him and started acting against me. And in its contrary, a great as my trust was, which had indeed no limit, a confidence sans bound. So here Prospero says, and on the opposite, on the contrary side, I was the one, means the extreme limit of disloyalty my brother started showing towards me, and on the contrary, I was having extreme faith or trust in my brother. I never thought that he is going to go against me. He being thus lauded here is standing for that he started taking himself as the real duke, not only with what my revenue yielded, means that he started collecting all the income which was coming with the state affairs. He started taking or considering it as his own, but what my power might else exact, and whatever he could take the grip of authoritatively, which rightfully belonged to me, he started taking control over it, like one who having into truth by telling of it made such a sinner of his memory. So here he means to say that that is Antonio, slowly and gradually started treating himself as the real duke, okay, and like a man who falsifies his memory of the truth and who begins to believe in his own lie after repeatedly telling it again and again. This Antonio started treating himself as the real duke, like one who having into truth by telling of it made such a sinner of the memory. And thus slowly and gradually, when he started looking himself as the real duke, his thoughts became corrupt, his thoughts became sinful, and he wanted to take the maximum advantage of whatever he could which rightfully belonged to me during the period of substitution, means taking my place. Whatever belonged to me, he slowly and gradually started overpowering it, overruling it, and taking control over it. Now this was how he started growing over ambitious. So, oh dear Miranda, are you listening to me or not? Now here in the last few lines you have prerogative. Prerogative means advantages or benefits which Antonio started gaining as a duke, as an acting duke. Executing means carried out. Miranda, your tale, sir, would cure deafness. So here Miranda says to her father that, oh father, even a deaf man would listen to your tale, whatever you are relating to me. I am very much interested, and even a deaf man would never ignore it and would mindfully listen to it. Prospero, to have no screen between this part he played and him he played it for, he needs will be absolute Milan. Me, poor man, my library was dukedom large enough of temporal royalties. He thinks me now incapable, confederates, so dry he was for sway, with the king of Naples to give him annual tribute, do him homage, subject his coronet to his crown, and bent to the dukedom yet unbowed. Alas, poor Milan, to most ignoble stooping. So, screen here stands for partition or difference, and then absolute stands for the actual or the real duke, is standing for Antonio becoming the real duke. Library is standing for the books which attracted more this Prospero than the dukedom. Then temporal royalty stands for the state affairs, basically the state affairs, the rightful state affairs which a monarch should follow. Keep it in mind. And he thinks me now incapable, confederates. Confederates is allies, or he made a deal or an agreement or a treaty. So dry. Dry is he was so thirsty for sway. For sway is for power, with the king of Naples. Who is this king of Naples? It is Alonso. To give him annual tribute. Annual tribute is means giving him some annual revenue and annual income. Do him a homage, that is tribute. Then subject his coronet to his crown, and bend to dukedom yet unbowed. Alas, poor Milan, to most ignoble stooping. Ignoble stooping is dishonorable bowing. Bowing, or it is the disgraceful manner, or bowing down or bending down in a very disgraceful manner. So here in this particular extract, Prospero says that finally a time came when Antonio never wanted to act as a substitute duke, and he wanted to remove this difference of being a substitute duke and wanted to become the absolute Milan. Wanted to become an absolute Milanese means he wanted to become the actual Duke of Milan. And me, poor man, my library was dukedom large enough, and I was so foolish. My poor self was so foolish that I could not make out that what he was up to, because I was much attracted to attaining knowledge than taking interest in my dukedom. And thus a time came when he took over all my royalties. All my royalties here stands for that all the rights which were granted to me as a monarch, and he proved to the others that I am incompetent, incapable of controlling the dukedom. And thus he joined hand by signing an agreement, treaty, or a deal. He was so thirsty for taking the power or taking the throne of Milan that he joined, or he signed an agreement with the king of Naples by acknowledging Alonso to be his leader. He decided that Milan would be a tributary or a part or a state under Naples, and thus he promised that he would be a subordinate to the king of Naples. Poor Milan, this was the condition which it had to suffer. It was really disgraceful and disrespectful for Milan to go through all these things. Miranda, oh the heavens. So Miranda is also feeling sorry Prospero, mark his condition and the event and tell me if this might be a brother. So, oh dear daughter, just look at what happened to my dearest Milan, and what was the result of all this. Whatever he joined hands with this king of Naples, what was the outcome of it? And now, after listening to it, just, oh dear daughter, tell me, is this brother of mine should be called or taken as my real brother? Should a real brother behave like this with his brother? Miranda, I should sin to think but nobly of my grandmother. Good wombs have borne bad sons. So she says that it would be a sin to think that my noble grandmother would have given from a same womb, two kinds of children, one who was good and the other who was bad. Prospero, now the condition, the king of Naples being an enemy to me inveterate, hearkens my brother's suit, which was that he, in lieu of the premises of homage, I know not how much tribute, should presently extirpate me and mine out of the dukedom, and confer fair Milan with all the honors on my brother, whereon a treacherous army levied one midnight, fated to the purpose, did Antonio open the gates of Milan, and in the dead of darkness the ministers of the purpose hurried thence, me and thy crying self. So here the meanings. Now the condition is the terms. Then invertebrate means determined. Hearkens is hears attentively. Suit is request. Then in lieu is initially. Then premises is the condition. Then homage is the tribute. Okay. Then extirpate here is standing for removed, driven away. Then confer is bestowed. Then you come ahead, you have treacherous army is disloyal army, that is the army of Alonso. Speaking about Alonso's army, fated is as it was destined, right? So here coming to the explanation. Now the condition, now the terms in return was, kindly note dear Miranda, what was the terms and condition which were to be followed. The king of Naples being an enemy to my inveterate, hearkens my brother's suit. So as the king of Naples hated me, he was one of my enemy, he was determined to listen or to attend to the Antonio's plea very attentively. He heard whatever he said very attentively. He listened to it and acted as per what the guidelines were given to him by Antonio, which was that in lieu of the premises of homage, and I know not how much tribute. So as per the tribute, which was the annual income decided to be paid to Alonso, I do not know how much the amount was, but finally the deal was done, and should presently extirpate me and mine out of the dukedom and confer fair Milan. So finally the deal was done, the money was decided, the income was decided, which was to be handed over for doing this work, and finally it was decided that I would be thrown out of my own Milan, and thus in return of this deed done, finally the good Milan would be handed over in the hands of my brother Antonio, with all honors on my brother, whereon a treacherous army levied one night. And just to do this, just to make this successfully happen, a treacherous army, that is a disloyal army, got together, and one midnight, as it was fated to happen, the doors of Milan were opened by Antonio, and the army of Alonso entered during the darkness of night and attacked Milan, and thus all those ministers who were assigned this duty to take control over me and you, dear Miranda, took control over us, and finally what was intended to happen had happened. Miranda, alack for pity, I not remembering how I cried out then, will cry it over again. It is a hint that wringes mine eyes to it. So hint here is occasion, wrenches is forces. So Miranda says, what a pity. I do not remember what would have happened at that time, but I, at this occasion, listening to your tale, oh dear father, it seems that it is an occasion that forces me to have tears in my eyes. Prospero, hear a little further, and then I'll bring thee to the present business which now's upon, without the which this story were most impertinent. So, dear daughter, listen a little bit more, and then I'll tell you the main reason, the main purpose why I'm relating this tale to you, and without knowing the further story, whatever I have told you in the past is going to be irrelevant. Miranda, wherefore did they not that hour destroy us? O father, can you tell me why they did not murder us, or why did they not bring our death upon us? What was the reason why they spared our life? Prospero, well demanded wench, my tale provokes that question. Dear, they durst not, so dear the love my people bore me, nor set a mark so bloody on the business, but with colours fairer painted their foul ends. In few they hurried us aboard a bark, bore us some leagues to sea, where they prepared a rotten carcass of a butt, not rigged, nor tackle, sail, nor mast, the very rats instinctively have quitted. There they hoist us, to cry to the sea that roared to us, to sigh to the winds whose pity sighing back again did us but loving wrong. So here the meaning, it is an important speech. So well demanded is well asked, dear lady, wench's lady. My tale provokes that question. It seems that the tale which I am relating to you has instigated this question from your mouth. Dear, they does not, oh dear daughter, they dare not kill us. Why? Because the people of my dukedom loved me dearly. So dear, the love my people bore me is they had great love for me, nor set a blood mark so bloody on the business, and they never means that is talking about Antonio and Alonso. He says that they couldn't, whatever they had done to me, they were careful enough not to stain themselves with the deed of blood. So that is meaning they were careful enough not to harm us or to kill us. Why? Because the people of Milan loved me dearly. But with colours fairer painted their foul ends. But colors fairer painted their foul ends is that anyway they charged a wicked intention with such deeds of goodness. In short, it means, in short it means that they hurried us aboard a bark. So very quickly they boarded us on a raft. Bark is on a raft, and carried the raft to a little distance away from the sea, into the sea, where they prepared a rotten carcass of butt, where already was standing prepared by them a rotten carcass of butt. Rotten carcass of butt means a broken, shattered boat which had no sails, no rigged is, no sails, no tackle is, no equipment, no ropes, no sail, no mast. The very rats here is standing for the people who were doing this bad intention, who were following the instructions, who were given the duty of putting us on this broken ship, instinctively have quitted. And finally these people left us there on this broken ship and drifted the ship into the howling sea. To cry to the sea is to the howling sea, and now to cry to the sea that roared to us. So we were howling and shouting for help, crying out for help. On the other way round, it seemed that the storm which was being raised at that time was also, the sea seemed as if it was showing sympathy towards us, and the winds which were blowing, it seemed that they were also showing sympathy for us in return. Did us but loving wrong. Now, did us but loving wrong is doing harm to us out of love. Harm to us, what was the harm? That the roaring waters were dangerous, and it would take away the life of Miranda and Prospero.